Hello students. Today we are going to be going over H2.2 adding vectors. It does say adding and subtracting, but we will only be doing adding today. So our objective, I can add and subtract vectors and find the magnitude of the resultant vector. So the sum of two vectors is called the resultant. So there's vocabulary there. So it says find vector A. So vector here, the symbol is a little bit like a half of arrow plus vector B. So there's method one, tip to tail. And what that is if you have A plus B, you start with A and you say, okay, here's my initial point and here's my terminal point. And what you do if I'm going to add B is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put the initial point where the terminal point is for A and then draw it from there. So this is now B, and there's the vector B. So the resultant vector extends from the initial point of A, that's right here, to the terminal point of B over there. So the resultant will look something like that. And it's not exactly perfect, but that's your resultant vector. So that is how you do it geometrically when you're looking for A plus B on vectors. Okay, so we're going to go to the next problem right here. So again, you have your initial point of view when you're doing U plus V, initial point of view over here. You take V and put the initial point here and then the terminal point there, and then your resultant vector is actually right here in the red. Okay, so that's a little bit way to visualize it. Okay. So if you have U equals 5, 4 and V equals 6, -9, find U plus V. Okay, so if I was just going to draw 6, 9, I would normally draw it from here and then I would go over 6 and down 9 because our first number tells us left or right. Positive means right, left will be negative. Up here, the second number is our Y value and it says up or down. So 4 is 4 up. And 9 is 9 down. So I could put V on here, 6, -9, and it would be down over here somewhere. So down over here. However, we want to start V where U ends. So the terminal point of U is right here. And we want to go 6 right and 9 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go 1 extra over here. And we've got to go 9 down from where U is at. So if I go 9 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that would be right here. Okay. So that would be V. Let's see if I can draw that very straight. Okay. So then to do U plus V, we start with the initial point of V and we go to the terminal point of, or initial point of U and go to the terminal point of V. So we're going to go, I should have done V in black, but I didn't. So here is U plus V all the way over to here. So we say that the solution to that would be, this would be 10, so 1 more is 11, comma, and then how far down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, graphically, U plus V is this, and numerically, U plus V is this. Okay, so that's page 222. Okay, next we're going to go on to page 223. Okay, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the parallelogram rule. I will go ahead and do number 1 first. If we have draw the resultant vector, if you have A plus B. So again, we want to start with the initial point of B. Actually, A plus B If the initial point here, A, has already had something here, then we go to the initial point of B right here. And then we draw it all the way to the terminal point of A. And then you are finished. Okay. Now, what if both of them, the initial point is in the same spot? Well, that's going to be the parallelogram rule. And for the parallelogram rule, what you have to do is go ahead and draw a parallelogram. So if this is my points here, what I do is take this B and I'm going to draw it over here. And I'm going to go ahead and draw it using a dotted line. So, and I'm trying to make it the same distance down. And then I'm going to draw a dotted line from the terminal point over there to here. And then when I do A plus B here, I start my initial point here. The resultant vector is going to go from here all the way down here. And I draw the arrow. So there's your resultant vector right there. So when you are finding just the coordinates, and I don't think I have any more written out, but if you are finding the coordinates, all you have to do is add the x's and the y's, and it's pretty simple that way. When you're finding the magnitude of vectors, make sure you add your x's and y's first, and then find the magnitude. And remember, your magnitude is going to be the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then make sure at the end that you take the square root of c. And let me see if I can do one from the homework. Let me see. I think I can do number 6 on your worksheet. V plus t. So at this point, I can make sure you have the worksheet and do number 6. Okay, so number 6, I'm doing vector V plus t. Okay, so V is 3, 2, and t was -5, 6. So again, we add the x's, is -2, and add the y's, 8. So that's what you get when you add those two vectors. Now, to find the magnitude, we have to go -2 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. Okay, so 4 plus 64 equals c squared. 68 equals c squared. Then, inverse operation of squared is going to be square root. So I may need to have to grab my handy dandy calculator. Square root of 68 equals 8.2. Okay, so you have your resultant right here, and then you have your magnitude right here. Okay, all right, go ahead and finish the rest of the worksheet. Good luck, students. You rock.